The spur controls everything. The conversation is dominated by the spurg. Over the next 2 hours or however long they stay sober, you will lose intelligence. Enjoy Theta Thursday. Your hosts, Dawn and Rhea, Maffoon, and some shitty guests.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to this week's Theta Thursday. Today we have some.
Well, we gotta thank fucking. First of all, thank Gilbert Gottfried for that wonderful intro to the show, and we're gonna thank Avon Tulloch there for taking care of that for Theta. What a fucking dude, man!
It's
thumbs up.
A great video. It's fantastic. But today we not only have one fantastic thing, we also have the glorious Dave. I promise I won't get smart bombed Archer. We've got Arsig, who is a recruiter for Ascendance, and we have Kalexos and Ops FC. So how are you three doing tonight?
Great. I'm good.
I'm doing pretty good so far. How you guys doing?
Good. Thank you so much for joining us this week. We are continuing our impromptu series, which is highlighting different corporations or groups that are in the Imperium, that make up the Imperium. So that way people on the outside can get a look inside to see what we're made of, as well as for those who are in the Imperium that may not integrate with other groups yet and may not get, take that time to really get to know the other people out there. So for those of you that don't know, most of these guys are pretty involved in the Alliance and the current war that's going on. But we're going to let each of them kind of take some time to introduce who they are, what they do in the Imperium, and, like how old they are, anything that they might want to share about themselves before we kind of get into the questions.
What Dave does.
You know what? Not everybody knows what Dave does. So
I don't know what I do half the time.
That's okay. We'll start with Arsig at the top. Go ahead and tell everybody who you are, how long you've been at Eve, and ask you specifically, and what you do for the Imperium.
Hello, everyone. I've been I've been in ASCII for pretty much the whole time I've been in Eve. I played since 2014, and then made a character, and then didn't do much in high sec, and then in 2000, I think it was 2016, joined ASCII, and been in there ever since, and then kind of met everybody last time in Vegas before the big COVID hit, and right now I do for Alliance. I'm one of the chords, and I work with Dave and all those guys, and then within ASCII I do kind of a jack of all trades, recruiting and a bunch of other stuff. So that's about it for me.
All right, Dave, before you get busy, why don't you go ahead and tell us who you are and things that might be interesting to know about you and what you do for the Imperium.
Okay, well, I'm Dave. I'm a co-ord, Operations FC, and Super FC, as well as running the FC org for J, essentially. And in ASCII, I'm the military director, so anything that involves a fleet or ship in space for the Corp, I kind of handle along with any of the structures that we have. Pretty much.
Okay. And then Klexos?
So, like you already said, I'm an Ops FC. Do a couple other things for the Alliance between Recon and pretty much just that. For Ascendance, though, I guess I'm military manager, so kind of like in the middle a little bit, handling some of the day-to-day stuff, working with our Corp FCs in terms of any sort of progression they're looking to get towards, and mentoring and things like that. I've been playing Eve since roughly 2007. I spent a good amount of time with the Northern Coalition of Old.
Oh,
Yeah, with like
interesting.
Nox and Wildly Inappropriate and whatnot. So
I do know the Y dots.
yeah, and I've been with Ascendants for nearly a year.
Nice. And then Arsig and Dave, how long have you been with the Ascendancy? Can you is it like 10 years, 2 years? What are we looking at?
Nearly 4 years for me. I used to be in Karma Fleet, and then I moved to ASCII after I came back from a long break.
Yeah, 4 years, 4 months for me for Ascendants. Like I said, that's the only corp I've been in Eve.
Now, how old is ASCII specifically? Does anyone know offhand? Or do I have to look?
I can look it up.
It was founded in 2015 in July.
Okay.
Yeah,
so not
so
that. So you guys have been in it most of it.
Yeah, the actual corp originally existed as one of Uncle Pilot's alt corps when he was in WoF. And then it turned into a member corp around the 30th of August 2016.
Okay. And
have you always been ASCII, or like has it been like transformed from one corp or any fold-ins or anything like that?
So we haven't really. The bulk of the member base comes from just us recruiting people. We've had loads of smaller corps that have kind of been absorbed. Thus, is the nature of being like a large corp. People just kind of close down and move in, sort of thing. But yeah, the bulk of the corp has always just been ASCII since its start.
Now, the Imperium has a fun meme, and from my understanding, that basically the new big kid on the block gets this meme for a long time until someone else replaces them. I'm sure a lot of people will say it, which is kick ASCII, but I remember a time when it used to be kick Karma Fleet. Why do you think it moved? Yes, it was for my first year in Goons. It was kick Karma. Karma's full of spies. And then eventually, I believe ASCII grew large enough that they started really getting out there and being a chunk of the fleets. You know, instead of just like the little smaller corp here, smaller corp there, ASCII really kind of exploded. And so then it became kick ASCII. So we're looking for. I wonder who's going to be the next meme option for us.
Most of us wear it as a badge of honor.
Why not?
Exactly.
We love it. I mean,
So-
it means you're out there. You're getting noticed, so that's good.
Right. Yeah, kick Wydot, kick ASCII, kick AMOC, kick Karma Fleet. We sometimes get kick Sundering, but not that often. What would be really funny is kick Goonwaffa, because that might make things
Yikes.
really interesting.
I'd just be kicking everybody's ults.
Hey, I'm in Waffa. I'm fully in Waffa.
Well, that's
Not
where
just-
he retires to, isn't it, Don?
Yeah, it's the retirement home of Goonswarm.
You pretty
You go
much
there
have
to-
to be over 30, right? For
Yeah.
WAF?
Yeah. Well, no, that's 30 plus. We have a corp that's actually for 30 and up.
Wait, really?
I actually considered that when I came back.
Yeah, there's a corp
But,
that's called 30 plus or 30. Yeah, and they only take people who are older than 30 to get away from the young whippersnappers. I don't know if they left or if they died. I haven't seen many of them in a while.
I think something happened to the corp and they had to make another one. It's still roughly the same ticker, but they're still knocking about.
Oh, that's good. So, what is kind of ASCII's focus? Like, what is ASCII's specialty?
So we generally, it's kind of everything and anything. So we do everything from industry to actually doing our own little deployments, like we did in Catch when Init first moved out there. We were out there forming fleets to help them, which is quite impressive. Getting a 60-man Serb fleet or 70-man Serb fleet from one corp, kind of.
Hey, that's like the numbers that Brave put up.
Yeah. Funny story about it, actually. So there was a test Munin fleet in the UEXO area once. So I pinged ASCII for Serbs. We got 70 dudes and made them sit tethered on a structure for a few hours. And this is test pinging their alliance, and they got stopped by a corp, which was quite embarrassing. But yeah, we do multiple things. In the past, we've done things like we've moved to regions outside the Super Umbrella to just kind of do our thing. Hence the Keepstar in UEXO and the one in YTAC 2 in Fountain. Those two.
I miss them as well. They have replacements in there that need to die.
Yeah.
We'll get to them eventually.
Yeah, to add on to that, as of late, we've also been handling quite a few different strategic gate camps, as well as small deployments to different areas and doing things like that. But going on the thing that Dave was talking about how we can ping fleets and stuff like that, there's been multiple engagements and skirmishes that, some of us were just like, let's just ping the corp, and we get like a amazing amount of numbers for just a single corp ping, in my opinion, as well.
So, I've seen you guys start off. I think your first gate camp in the war was the G Magic Gate.
Yep, it was G Magic Gate. That's really was one of the most fun things we ever did. We got a lot of feedback from our members on that, and that was the one thing they all said they liked doing was coming out to the gate camps, and we saw a surge in our numbers just from the gate camps. People come out and fly with us and hang out with us, and just just with our culture and liked it. So we attract a lot of members like that. So we kind of evolve and we do a lot of what the members like, but the gate camps are definitely popular.
And it sounds like you guys are pretty active because, obviously period basis eventually fell, but I have seen you guys specifically kind of take up the mantle on multiple strategic gates as necessary, from what I can tell. Are you guys still manning the 3-tag D gate a little bit, or have you guys pulled back to a different area, or what's kind of your current focus today?
We're still doing the 3-tech D gate. We're just kind of shifting as we need to with what alliance level stuff needs to go on, but we're still here. We're focused obviously on Delve right now, but we just things change pretty fast lately.
Mm-hmm. And I believe you all are very active in Whelp Squad, or a good chunk of ASCII's in Whelp Squad. Is Havish in ASCII?
Havish is Ascendance, and he's also the leader for Whelp Squad. I believe Dave is also Whelp Squad leadership.
So yeah, we kind of push our guys to get in there, get them into PvP a bit more, get them doing stuff. And
Now,
yeah,
having Havish in corp, does he like randomly sing in your corporate chat on Mumble?
yes.
Yes.
That must be wonderful. I love Havish.
Just pretty much does drive-by singings.
They'll do drive-by, what is it? The little trumpet horn thing he does too.
The Horn of Havish.
He'll just show up, trumpet, and then disappear.
TM.
Yeah, or when stuff is going down, he'll turn up, start doing that trumpet thing, yell, get him feet, and then randomly disappear again.
Like
Perfect.
fire and then leave.
That's nice. And what has been, I guess, probably the most fun? You said the Geek Camp at G Magic was pretty fun, but would you count that as the most fun that you've had individually or as a corp in this war? Or is there any particular point in the last year, or even a story from previous years that you think has just been like the most fun as being part of ASCII?
I think my most fun part of ASCII is a sort of quite bit of contention in the alliance. When we decided to live in Fountain, and the Fountain core dudes left the NIP, and us and Bastion left every one of their structures, including Poco's, within 5 hours of them leaving the NIP. And that was hella fun.
I think I remember you moving up
On
there.
people with our supers and titans and stuff.
Was it scary being out there and not having like daddy around to like? So, I mean, obviously you guys are huge, but it's not the same as being, in Delve where you've got, if shit really goes down, I can just ping the whole alliance and the rest, everybody will come help us. Was it weird being out there?
Kind of was, but it was also part of the fun. And we had friends in it and Bastion that would come running. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then we eventually pulled back to Delve when game changers started to make things like that even more ill-advised.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was my most fun anyway. Don't know about the other two.
I think the most fun I had, or at least since I've been in Ascendance, was all the events leading up to M2 with Whelp Squad, and then all the mobilization preparation that we went through as a corporation, just handing stuff out, manufacturing things, getting everybody everything needed, sharing ships, super capitals, titans, the whole 9 yards, leading up to M2 Part 1 and 2. That whole process to me was absolutely amazing. I had a lot of fun with it, especially with my somewhat involvement with it.
Yeah, I say the UEXO stuff, or not UXO, G Magic, and then moving up to NPC Delve for a while. That's when you kind of start to see really how many people in Corp can do so many different things, like he said, manufacturing and just the logistics. And people came out of the woodwork to lend help and donate things, and there's a lot of generosity. A lot of people threw down ISK and put in their time just to make sure that everybody got a seat at the table. And so I'd say that's probably the most fun I've had.
I think, didn't Ellie build like something like 2,000 fighters or something like that?
Yeah. So when we were preparing for M2 2.0, we spent the entire day collecting resources from all around the corp. One of our members built, I think it was actually 1,000 fighters for the corp to resupply everybody's supers. And members just appeared with things like Titans going, put this in a corp hangar in case somebody needs another Titan, or in case somebody can fly one and doesn't have one because I won't be there. Here, use my Titan. Which was weird and a bit odd to have to handle, but it kind of showed great group spirit, so to speak. People just handing over billions of ISK worth of shit to...
I think one of my favorite moments was during M2, and even though I was streaming for most of it, at one point or another I was able to get my Mifune logged on as well as my cameraman, and I got into the fight, and the conversation in Corp chat was just pure, let's go, we got this, guys, and it's just the constant. It was a constant morale boost in Corp chat throughout the entire fight, and it was great.
Until you fell asleep.
Until I fell asleep.
I had been up, on the first M2, I had been up since 0500 Eve time that morning, because I did the op with Havish and V where we took the jammer down, And then I was like, oh, I'll be around to help with the keep stars later. 30 hours later, I got to sleep.
Yeah, I was in the same boat with you on that. I remember I was backseating your Serb fleet when we shipped up, and then I thought it would just be a day, and we'd go for the timer and have a fight, and then events transpired, happened, and next thing I knew, I was up for like 3 or 4 days straight.
Yeah, and that's something you brought up, Clarksus, when you're talking, is that M2 started because of basically your guys' corp / SIG, Whelp Squad, just shooting a jammer. I've heard obviously like the Cliff Notes story, but does anyone have like the full story of like what really, like how that happened?
I think it was a PM between Dave and Havish.
No, it was me and V, and then me and Havish. So me and V were talking, or V and I, however you want to go with the ground. And we were like, hey, we should go hit those jammers, because it was at a phase where, they were jamming all the keep stars before they killed them, so we were just kind of, well, if they want to go max coward, they can go max coward, and we're like, let's give it a shot. So IPM Havish and get him to get Whelp Squad to form bombers, because even though everybody in the Grandmother should have a spy in Whelp Squad, it's not exactly hard to get. It's a bit more low-key than pinging all. So we started to do it with that, and then they turned up in some really bad Jackdaw fleet. So Mr. V went to kill them with Munins, and it just kind of escalated to the point where they had 2 hack fleets, and we had a Jackdaw fleet and a Munin fleet, and for some reason they pulled off. We left all 3 jammers, and the rest is trillions of ISK worth of dead Titan.
And that's the magic of Eve. You never know what's going to happen. Because you guys could have just left. You guys could have been pushed off if you gave up, it sounds like. But you ran circles around them and then started the largest battle in Eve ever and enemy leadership's greatest loss. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so there was a point where me and V were discussing about pulling out, and then I just turned around and went, I think we can do it, and we just both walked in on 0 on their hack fleet, destroyed one of them, and they just ran away.
Well, that's exciting. What has been the toughest thing you guys have had to do as ASCII as a group? Was it, was there ever like an area you lived in that was just really tumultuous, or something that maybe brought you guys closer together? I know this one's a harder one.
Honestly, it's probably this war, because this is the first time that ASCII's been in a war of this scale, because we weren't about when Goons lived in Declan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
you got ASCII joined, I think, because was the casino war like October of 15? Or was it right before that? Someone will have to history it up.
Yeah, it's kind of like the first time. I mean, we've been in wars before. We're in the one that had the Battle of X-47 in.
Mm-hmm.
But it's never really one that threatened us. That was just kind of a holiday to go kill some people. Whereas this one, it's the first time where, an ASCII structure's been destroyed, where literally everything we have is on the line. So I think it kind of brought everyone together, especially on the gate camps and stuff, because when we were in period basis, we were literally also responding to hacks to stop them from taking the place. So it was, it's very different when it's a place you care about, sort of thing.
And ASCII had 2 keep stars die as well. That's a keep star that we saved for and we put into as a corp, and we were very proud of. And to see it die and see the other one die, it's like, well, it's real. So I think maybe that was kind of, it sucks seeing that, for me at least.
Still got one more.
Yeah,
I personally see the crab stars dying as very solemn, I guess is the word for it. I don't know. Before I joined ASCII and long before I joined Goons, I was in the Lawn Alliance, and my corporation built a keep star. and it was the QTech Zero Keepstar, and watching that die, it was like, I don't know, it was like that little shred of a tear, and then after it finally died, it was like, it was fun while it lasted, right?
Greg and I wouldn't know what anything's like on that one. I mean, technically, Goonwappa owned all of them, but I had no personal affection to any Keepstar.
Yeah, so the with the for the ASCII one and the ASCII one in Fountain and the one in South Dalve, those were the way we built those was simply members, donated whatever they could to fund the cost of building it. So it's kind of like everybody's one.
A little group project that I've seen a lot of them do. And Greg, I think you're muted. Try talking. No, we can't hear you.
We can't hear you, Greg.
Oh, what about now?
There we go. There you go.
Ah, that was weird.
Welcome back, Greg.
All right, thanks. No, I don't know what happened there. I think I clicked on something wrong. So what is the what's the official, do you guys have official fleet music of ASCII that you listen to when you're on a fleet? Or
I wouldn't say we have official fleet music, but we've had a lot of corp fleets where we've been using different websites where people can just input music they want to listen to, and it plays it just like a user-based radio kind of thing.
Yeah, Tularmy will link one of those and sell you BPCs. But there's one cool website. It's like a DJ website, and you have your little avatar and put on the music you want. Then the Horn of Havish, of course, he sings every fleet.
That's kind of neat. And Dave, the phrase "hell yeah" is rather prevalent on your fleets. How did that get started?
That was actually Marine. He came into it was a fleet that I turned into a Corvette fleet. And we just started saying it, and it kind of stuck, especially after every time we killed, for instance, a Munin and a bunch of Corvettes in the middle of their Munin fleet. We would say it in local, so it just kind of stuck as a meme.
Isn't that the first Scepter fleet we took into T5? We just rampaged through there, pissing them off.
Yeah, so with that, we shipped from Boltex, because it was right after somebody's Nix got walked off in 1DQ, into Corvettes, T2 fit Corvettes at that. Went in, killed a load of stuff. They formed Munins against Corvettes, which I found an intriguing choice. And they they lost 3 Munins to us before they could kill us all.
Hell yeah!
So yeah, that's kind of where that one came from.
What is that your favorite phrase of catchphrases of the FCs, or is anybody else's sort of catchphrase better? What do we got? Slopback is "Hey my dudes," right?
Dude force, yeah, dude.
That's one I've started to use without even noticing it. I didn't notice how often I said that until somebody pointed out the other day.
Come on, my dudes. And then
Mike Floods would be just a second, I gotta talk to this girl.
Oh my god.
Yeah, oh my god, I swear to god.
You're not wrong.
Calling him out.
So true. Now
after my mom picks me up from school.
That's not nice.
Yep. Happy birthday, Mike.
Not nice.
Love you,
he may
Mike.
not say it, but everybody says it to him. Happy birthday, Mike.
Oh, we got to do a shout out to Sector 6 Apparel. I got this mug today, I ordered 3 days ago or something. I can't remember. And it's friggin' awesome, man. I'm drinking my.
It looks weird because of the green screen that you have on, Greg. The color correction is not great when you have a green screen, but there you go. It's a fat pea mug.
Wow! I didn't even notice that your cup is see-through on the screen.
For people probably wondering, yes, it is colored. It's just the stream's color correction with his green screen.
Mifune, do you have that graphic that I sent you?
Yeah,
that picture?
I do. Hold up.
Anyway, so yeah, if you use the code INN when ordering from Sector 6 Apparel, you you get a discount.
Are we getting any kickbacks?
What? No, we're
No?
not, Don.
Damn.
But we're doing it because we're friggin' good people. At least that's what I tell myself when I look in the mirror, which is quite often.
I'm kind of curious. So you guys have been asking about ASCII. So what do you guys like from your perspective? What do you guys think ASCII was about, or like what was your perspective?
Oh, I see a lot of good pilots with that ASCII tag, right? So and ASCII people are always friendly, right? And like except when Dave gets bitchy on fleets, but
I was going to say, have you met me?
No, but it's always fun, right? Like I like flying with ASCII dudes.
So when I think of ASCII, I think of open recruitment and Theta, because that is the other meme that not everybody knows, but that's something that I don't know if you guys ever did, but everyone likes to attribute you to doing, which is just putting open recruitment up in Theta local.
They used to do that before I joined the corp. Apparently they.
And the other thing that I think of is obviously tackled ASCII rattlesnakes, which are at least in Theta, old Theta, is a kind of almost a PT, like a trigger moment. We'll just say that because I don't know, Dave, do you want to tell it or do you know enough about it?
I still don't know the story. I'm curious.
I wasn't in corp at the time, but I generally get the gist of the story that somebody said they were tackled in a rattlesnake. Lit a cyno, Theta jumped to it, and then it turned out to be a trap. And I believe a lot of Titans died. And supers is the understanding that I have.
Yes, that's the short version. But basically, what happened was a rattlesnake called for help. We said sign up. This was early on too when I joined, but I had been in Theta for a little while. Some people jumped to it, and what happened was they didn't call for help until their sino was almost done, and so theirs went down, and they had a spy on grid that lit their sino up. And then 5 seconds later, an inhib went up, so no other sinos could be lit to save the capitals. A Titan and 2 supers died before we could get there to save it. And I believe so. The rattlesnake was ASCII, and then the spy sino I believe was Karma Fleet, which became a very interesting story of you're always like, oh, is the corp that had the spy gonna pay for this? But it's like, oh god. It's a Titan and 2 supers. It's gonna wipe out some corpse wallet. So there's actually a character in Goonswarm called Tackled ASCII Rattlesnake now as a meme to that particular incident. But so every time I hear ASCII, that's what I think of.
I think even Theta changed the way they did business after that because you gotta evolve or keep losing stuff.
No, actually, we did not at all. We just said we won't say rattlesnakes anymore. So that was We've only saved 1 rattlesnake since then, and that's only because we knew who it was. And they were tanking like a full Loki fleet too. And he signed up and we saved his ass. It was great. The reason why Theta changed anything is mostly because of what CCP does. Or if like a group is using a certain tactic to try and get us, then we'll obviously modify to that tactic. But
on that note, ASCII has pretty robust recruitment. We've Triab, our sub-director and our director, and then we've got sub-directors working that like just to handle just that. So we do a pretty thorough vetting now. But
who is in charge of ASCII anyways?
So Major Sniper's the CEO, and then each different aspect of ASCII is ran by a director that generally does their thing. So, like, I deal with all the infrastructure and, like, fleets and such. Then you've got Triab, who is the HR director, so he deals with all recruitment, including our high-sec corp, where we send all the completely new people that back in the day would have been invited to the main corp. Then there's Heinrich, who handles industry and internal affairs. So basically, he has a very big rubber glove that he uses to weed out any unsavory people. And then there are other directors, the original ones who are kind of on leave / there to fill in where anyone needs help.
So I know we've talked a lot about ASCII today, which is great. We love our ASCII members, even if we say kick them all the time.
There's one.
Oh, do you have another question? Okay, go ahead.
So this is an idea from Klexos, and it's an idea I like very much. We thought we would open the floor to the chat, and if you have any questions about ASCII or the people in ASCII, feel free to ask.
You can ASCII them a question.
ASCII, no, that's
See what you did
or if
there?
you want to ask about the Gilbert Godfrey thing, that'd be okay too. No, we are not going to kick ASCII. We'd lose a really good portion of our fleets if we did. Once again, the fact that they pull numbers larger than Brave, the 5th largest alliance in the game, is ridiculous. How many people are in ASCII? Like 2,000?
Actual real people? Give me a second, I can look that up.
not including all the alts and
Yeah, no, I can look up how many.
Yeah, you can see the cool numbers. Numbers you've never seen, Mythos.
As of the 1st, there's 428 actual people in ASCII.
Nice. All right. So, and then Brave, an alliance of, let's go with, 2,000 real people, probably? Maybe less? I don't know. 1,500? Get 103 people in fleets at their max form right now.
Somebody asked an interesting
I
question.
think we're running around 1,500 total characters.
Mm-hmm.
So
What'd you have, Klexos?
Somebody asked, what's our opinion on pineapple pizza?
That is a good question.
I like pineapple on my pizza.
I do too.
Shush.
Pizza's been a hot topic lately, especially with Dave, so I've heard.
I burnt
Why?
2 pizzas earlier when I was cooking them. I was cooking them.
How? You take
So
them
I
out.
started cooking them, and then me and some of the other cohorts started playing Factorio. My Alexa's alarm went off, and I just silenced it. And then about half an hour later, I went, "Oh, that's what that alarm was for." And I had charcoal in the oven.
Good job.
That
Hi,
was
Dominic. Welcome to the stream. Today,
Well, since Dawn's internet decided to just cut for a minute. Hi, Dominic. How you doing?
Narc.
Your mic's kind of weird to you, but how's it hanging?
That's good. How are you doing tonight?
We're doing great.
Welcome to the show. It's been a fun evening. Do you have any ASCII questions or even just FC questions? Because 2 of the people here at minimum are FCs. And Arsig, do you FC?
I do occasionally on demand. Do mostly the court stuff, but yeah, I do enjoy FCing them. And I'm military subdirector for Dave too, so I do some of the mill side behind the scenes mostly.
The only question I'd have is ASCII recruiting?
Of course.
ASCII's always recruiting just about.
Nice.
There's only been 2 times that I know we stopped, and that was the first few months of this war. And I can't remember the name of the war, but the one that had X-47, we stopped recruiting for it.
Someone asked if our math is right. A certain someone said that our only FC was Asher and V. So, Dave, how does it feel to not be an FC?
Well, it means I can do a lot less. If those 2 want to take everything, it's fine. I can have a day off.
You get your life back.
Spoiler to absolutely no one. During the start of this stream, I was actually FCing at the same time.
It's okay. It's not like the enemy's doing anything of any substance or consequence right now.
We've had some big wins this week. Do we want to talk about some of those?
Yeah, we can move into war stuff.
Well, from an ASCII perspective too, right? Like,
yeah, that'd be a good one. We have a lot of Corp FCs and a lot of upcoming FCs within the Corp.
Do you guys at ASCII, do you like do anything to promote that or to facilitate that? You have a program, a corp led program for that for FCs, or?
Yeah.
So we do. It's kind of been neglected a bit because everybody I brought up to help me do it then proceeded to show competence in front of the Alliance and got jobs. So, for instance, both of my subdirectors, one's Arsig and the other one's Rom, one's a GSOL subdirector and one's a co-ord. So then we had to bring on 3 more people to help. And then I went and got all 3 of them into Alliance jobs and one of them into an IML job as well. So it's like... But, yeah, so we have a structure. We have kind of an opt-in channel for people that want to take out, small corp fleets, and then we have a more OPSEC channel where we organise things like the gate camp and things like going to help in it and whatnot.
Saturday night drunk Rome. We haven't done that in a while though, so we need to.
And birthday Romes.
That was always popular.
I think too, like generally, kind of how we've started to structure like the FC department, at least in terms of mentoring and fostering development, a little bit, is kind of modeled after how we structure the Alliance fleet commander kind of structure, to the point where, if things are all going according as planned, we do have monthly or bi-monthly like meetings and stuff where it's kind of somewhat of a Socratic seminar between the Corp FCs, what they want to learn, what they've done well with, what they haven't done well with, a little bit.
So it makes it easier for them to transition from your guys' corp-led group to the Alliance-led group then, since it's kind of the same format.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then we also start dragging them along on our Alliance fleets. So, for instance, Kalexos used to just do corp stuff, really, and then me and Mike started dragging him along everywhere.
I think Kalexos does a great... I joined his fleet when I see him. I think he does a good job. You do a good job.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
For those of you that are on our stream Discord, I posted a picture that one of our lovely viewers has looked at. It's pretty cute. I'm gonna try to put it in the Theta Thursday channel on the INN Discord.
just copy and paste it in chat, Don.
I can't post anything in the Twitch chat.
What? Why?
I don't have those roles. Anyways.
That's pretty cute.
It is pretty cute, isn't it?
In response to Dr. Feelgood about how to make more ISK to fund things and whatnot, there's quite a few different ways. If you ask in the Corp Discord and stuff like that, we have a lot of people who are more than willing to help you, but some of those ways in which people go about making their ISK the things they kind of want to do, I'm not sure I should share in an open forum, just to basically keep away from as many people, saturating those ways per se.
Well,
that makes sense.
ASCII, I don't know, Karma Fleet and a couple of other corps all have ways of help teaching their members how to make some money. Maybe they'll go do stuff together. I know some of the Sunring guys did some stuff together. I know some of the Karma Fleet guys do stuff together, and Initiative does a lot of stuff to kind of make some cash on the side if they need to.
There's definitely a lot of ways.
And if you want to see most of it, it is right on the forums. There's usually big threads in the market areas typically. And so if you're interested in that information and you're in the Imperium, that's where you can find it. If you're still lost and unsure, you can always come down to Theta. All of us love making money, and we'll tell you how to make money. And then you don't have to stay, but you can come down and say hi. We don't bite usually.
I hang out there from time to time too.
If I throw one thing onto that too, if you're on an ASCII fleet, especially the gate camp fleets, you probably heard, hey, don't shoot that MTU. All the loot we pull off those fleets, plus just we dig right into our corp wallets. We have our own ascendance care, ASCII care. So just like you apply for Alliance SRP, you can apply for Corp SRP at the same time for the same loss, and we'll actually adjust those numbers quite frequently to try to make people whole, so that at least when they're out on the fleets with us, if they lose a ship, they're really not losing anything. So they're not getting into the red just because they want to come out and play the game and have fun and hang out with their friends and have a good time. So you can at least ease your pain as long as you're not flying something too expensive or non-doctored.
That also goes for people in Friends of ASCII SIG that we have. So if anybody on a Ascendance fleet, be they in Ascendance or not, gets SRP from Ascendance.
How does one apply to the Friends of ASCII SIG?
It's just a off group. Let me try and find them.
It's just like any of the other SIGs for the Alliance. You just go through the list and click apply, and then wait for somebody to hit the button to accept, usually.
Mifune, are you still awake?
Yeah, just doing some background things on the background side of things.
This is your corp. You have to be engaged in.
I am engaged.
Good.
I got my entire leadership here to answer questions. There's not really much I can do.
Okay, Mifune, how do you like it being a member of ASCII?
Yeah, you're a newer member of ASCII.
I
Just-
love
just
ASCII.
like a-
because
just a
Fandom does.
See, the thing is that me, Klexos, and Dave, for a while, we were playing squad. Me and Klexos did a lot of FC things together, and then, a couple of days later, the memes started to get Mifune into Ascendance, even though I wouldn't leave Sundering for a while, and then me and Klexos and Dave, we were playing squad one night, and I was like, you know what? I do a lot of stuff outside of EVE with these guys, a lot more than I do with Sundering. So I feel a little bit more at home here, and so I switched, and that has probably been one of the best EVE decisions I've ever made, just because with ASCII, we're constantly talking in the Discord, everyone's having always a good time, there's never any drama, there's never any bullshit, because we're very cut and dry with that. If you start bullshit, then that bullshit's gonna end pretty damn quickly. So, things are just fun, if we're not playing EVE, we're getting squad together, we play Phasmophobia, Among Us, we play a whole bunch of stuff outside of EVE that we all do together as well. So it's really fun, because at any time I can just hop on my PC and ping everyone that doesn't play EVE and say, yo, I'm gonna go play this game, who wants to join? And next thing you know, I've got 10 people in comms playing a game with me. And it's a lot of fun. And then on the EVE side of things, we've got so many different in-game corp activities that we do, like the Friends of ASCII and the ASCII fleets and the gate camps and everything like that. So it's always fun, because you never have a moment in ASCII where you're alone, right? You're always either talking to somebody else or doing something with somebody else, and that's just fucking fantastic. Always have that activity. There are times where I can't sleep at 4 a.m. and come on, and our EU presence is just as strong as the US presence, and it's great. I love it. But yeah.
I do, definitely. I mean, our door is always open to, people willing to, that spend their time with us and find that they want to join Ascendance and, be officially part of the corp and whatnot,
Oh yeah, I've also been giving the nickname of Miffy thanks to Klexos trying to type my name on his cell phone and completely botching the spelling.
Hey, that was autocorrect, okay? And it was Muffins.
Muffins, Miffy, they're both there.
Oh, real quick, Dominic, did you see our opener?
Muffins is so good.
Dominic,
Say that again.
did you see our opener?
No, I did. I missed it.
Oh my god, I have the
link.
I have the link.
In the stream
I have the link. Hold up.
One of our Theta members paid for this.
It was
And-
Avon. Avon Tillich paid for it. The fucking hero, Avon.
And
Of Sundering.
my favorite thing is he pronounces almost everything wrong.
I know. He's like...
that's why it's funny. Theta! It was great. So, I'm sorry.
Like,
I wanted to make sure, because we were very proud of that we got to get that.
What I want to know is why he put the word "and" next to your name. He was like, Dawn and Rhea. Like, it's one name.
I have no idea. Okay, so let's shift into some more stuff or things about Eve that's happened this week.
That's fantastic.
Is it not?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
I know. We're
Don,
gonna
I
use
heard-
that every week.
I didn't even know that was an option to do something like that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, we're gonna use it every week. Oh, we
Do we know what the cost was?
we have another. I think we have another surprise next week because I don't think that one's ready. But
No,
we
no,
might
no.
have-
The surprise is not till July 1st. That
Oh,
that
you're
other
right.
surprise.
You're right.
We're
We're-
going to be doing. Oh, that's it. I
Yeah,
can
let's
bring this
promote
up
that
now.
now.
On July 1st, it falls on a Thursday. July 1st is Canada Day. So if there's any hero Canadians that are listening that
In the Imperium.
want to come on in the Imperium,
Are there
that
any
wanna
hero
come on and-
Canadians?
Greg's
fucking
a hero
right there it is,
Canadian.
bud. Yeah, can you tell? Anyways, so yeah, if you want to come on the show and tell us about your uniquely Canadian experiences in Eve, or whatever, just like talk about fucking maple syrup and donuts and beer, that's fine too. Send somebody a message. I don't know, me, Don, or Mifune, or hell, send Dave Archer a message. Why not? No, actually, don't do that.
You'll just get lost with all the others.
All the others, yeah.
Exactly.
So yes,
So
we're gonna
yeah,
have a
we're
Canadian
going to be
special.
doing that on.
And we have a very
on
special
Canada Day.
surprise. Very special surprise for Canada Day. So I think everyone will like it as well. But Dave, how would you, and Klexos, both of you, how would you rate our enemies' activities this week on a scale of 1 to 10?
Can we go negative?
Yeah, negative if you want.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
probably like -5. I'm going to be honest. It's
You can do imaginary numbers.
there
Well,
have been
do it
moments
this way.
where I've been sat
What
there
is-
going,
What is their rating for effort, and what is their rating for success or like accomplishment?
So up to the just after the battleship incident, I'd say A for effort. But accomplishment, what have they done? They put down some Asbals that have all been killed. Okay.
And how do you feel about the now? Let's full transparency. Redline was just memeing on Tuesday, guys. But how do you feel about the narrative that they've latched onto of containment? Goons are contained. We can't go anywhere. We can't exert power across the universe. So they've won, right?
See, I'm in a one of those Yeti containers because they're really nice and I like it.
Ooh,
It's very
very-
it's kind of comfortable. It's very very nice.
temperature controlled.
Yes, temperature controlled.
Yeah, I
happy
feel
with
I
my
heard
container.
something.
Let Dave go.
Go on, Dave.
I feel really contained, especially after yesterday after my incident with the blops. We then
Oh, you died on Marshall. I saw
Yeah.
that. Good
we
job.
then dropped on some Vedmax and then on some dudes wrapping a pods and blew that up. So I would say if we were contained, we wouldn't be still blowing their stuff up.
And did you
and-
like? Go ahead.
And Catch would still be in Brave's control.
Do you like how he who shall not be named said that we weren't harassing them at all? And I went and counted all the rorquals I could count that we had done in just our immediate areas, which
Oh,
was
no,
18.
Oh no, Dalv's safe, Don. Remember, Dalv is safe.
Delve is
Well,
safe, rat and mine,
Dalv is
guys.
safe. Yeah.
So no, that we looked into that a little bit further. Those were all ghost Rokros. That's why he's saying that. They're not real. Yeah.
you're
So it's
right.
unfortunate. They're just
Yeah,
they're better
Dominic
than
is
we are.
there.
Yeah,
It's
they're
not a
better.
real Oracle unless it's got savages on it.
They're all
No,
fake.
okay, let's and also go with error, guys, because like I was doing it real quick, but I get one or take two. But I saw in the space that our space with goons on it, I saw about 18. If you want to,
I said 23, but then I did go back and take out the ones that were by somebody else.
that
Yeah,
I knew they were.
I had
by
18
somebody else.
also, so I think you were correct.
I was
The
pretty close.
way I see it is just nature's healing, you know.
Well, it's
come
normal.
back to Dalv and are dying.
Yeah,
Keeps
that's natural.
being anchored. It's
Yeah, I heard rumors
Yeah.
about that. What's going on? Did they put a keep star down?
So the other day Shines kind of slapped
Shines was
his
a baller.
slapped it on the table and went, "Here you go," and put a keep star on the
Oh,
gate. So
So now,
We're
can you
we're
discuss
getting
with
invaded.
us
How the hell can we do that?
details? Can you discuss the significance of that? Because that seemed to be something that many of people on other shows did not quite fully understand. And even when tried to explain it, they wouldn't listen. Can you explain some of the strategic significance of that Keepstar?
So have it from an FC standpoint with the cats, it's a hell of a lot safer. The irony coming from me having lost a super on a Keepstar,
Not
but
just any super,
no.
the super.
Yeah, it's a lot safer. Much bigger tether range. It's got the Doomsday, which is useful. And the big important thing is you can dock.
Well, the other, I believe, benefit is its location, because 3-Tech-D is pretty fat. It's a pretty big, thick bitch, as we call it in the industry, right? And the warp from the normal Keepstar to the gate is, anybody want to guess?
48 AU.
There you go, right? How long does that take in tie-dye?
I haven't done the maths, but from sitting through it, I had enough time to get up, go get a sandwich, come back, and I still hadn't landed.
Boom, at least a minute, right? If it's super heavy tie-dye. Light tie-dye is not so bad, but heavy tie-dye, it's pretty awful. But now everything's on one grid by the gate, which seems to be the most important thing to hold right now. So we've just cut that minute-long reinforcement timer to get reinforcement fleets. And I think the iHub is not too far from that grid either, or is it like kind of in the middle? I can't remember in that system. But now we've got it shored up even more. And they allowed us to do this. They could have stopped this, right?
It all depends on how much they were willing to pay for it. Because it would have exerted a heavy toll, because they would have had to have first of all gotten us off the game, which is tricky when the thing you want to kill is on the gate. They've already proven that they still can't find a way to get through that gate with us already there. So that's their first problem. They would have lost billions trying to get through the gate. Their next problem is how are they going to kill it? They'd have to do certain things and stuff that I'm not going to go into too much detail, but unless they were willing to pay as much as we did in NPC Delve, I don't think they would have killed that Keepstar.
Yeah, I don't think they can. Even if they wanted,
it would have required maximum effort.
It would have been insane.
Well, it's commitment too, right? It's like who's willing to go all in for what they want and what we want and what we're aiming for. Our goal is survival. Theirs is a fucking whim for a lot of their members, right?
Even at that, like lately, it seems like some of the effort they've been putting forward has been kind of not like the effort they've been putting forth, a couple weeks back. There's a point where the other night, like we sat in comms playing Cards Against Humanity, just waiting for something to happen. Nothing ever happened. We had a good time and chilled out, and yeah.
Does anyone want to?
I think the big part of it is that we, over the past, since last week's show, at least I, the amazing stalker of the r/Eve that I am, have seen many Pappy members talking about this war and using throwaway Reddit accounts to admit how much they don't want to be in this anymore. Right? I have seen a Reddit member come forward and say, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. He's tired. He's tired of logging into T5Z every day. He's tired of going, oh, maybe this will be the day I jump the T5Z gate into 1DQ, and instead it's, oh, let me jump through the jump bridge to E-Tech V, go into 3-Tech-D for no goddamn reason, and die 5 minutes later. Right? And that's just one big point from where Pappy is, right? And it's just like, it is amazing that they have not been able to break into this constellation in the past month, and it's really starting to feel the pressure on those line members.
Now, last night was a full form. What did they end up doing last night?
Good question, Greg. What did they do?
I believe they went and shot an Asbel or something somewhere.
Like
Didn't
an Athenor or Asbel belonging to TNT or something like that.
They blew an Athenor. They blew an Athenor that was owned by TNT that was outside of Delve.
Did you think that we had any structures left? Because I distinctly remember, a couple weeks ago, they said all goon structures were gone outside of Delve, like 1 or 2 weeks ago. Does anybody else remember this?
There's still a fort somewhere. I'm not going to say where because I don't want it to die, but there's still a Fortizar somewhere in Goon Space that I have a 2.8 billion-isk fitted Garmer that's sitting there. And that
you want to sell it?
No, I'll wait until the war's over and then I'll go extract it.
I'll give you 500 million.
Oh dear Lord. No, it's insane. So for those of you that were not aware of last night, maybe you were on, maybe you were off across the other side of the galaxy, maybe you were in fleets. Yeah, they formed 3 to 4 fleets. I don't know how full. They could have been at their normal amounts of 180 and pretend that they're full. They decided instead of coming into 3 Tech D after their quote-unquote flash form, they went to 8RQJ to shoot an Athenor and then shoot some passes. And apparently during the fleet, people were just leaving. I don't know if anybody can corroborate that, but I from what I understand, people just started leaving because it just was like, oh, we're not going into 3 Tech D. Okay. Now, do you guys feel very contained? I feel like they're trapped with us.
I mean, considering I took a Cloaky Loki all the way over to Quirios and killed 3 brave Vexers and was able to successfully go through T5Z just to get back to 1DQ without dying, I'm not feeling trapped at all. I just feel like I have a new neighbor.
I've flown to Esoteria 4 or 5 times now. I mean, just back and forth, and not in Cloaky and not in an Interceptor.
Yeah, I feel like to a certain extent, like they're really just here with us. They're kind of like a neighbor at this point until we decide to go on the offensive, and we're just kind of doing our things. I know we have like a lot of people that are in other places on their alts and doing other things as well, just kind of playing the game, and then they come here for the PvP content and have some fun.
Yeah, I mean, far as contained, we live here. We're this is our house, and they're basically just kind of carpet bagging on our front lawn. Knocking on the door.
No,
I don't feel contained at all.
I said this at the beginning of the war, and I will say it again. I made this prediction long before the Q-Star and NPC Delve that this war is going to end the exact same way. Pappy is going to get to our front doorstep, they're going to leave a flaming brown paper bag full of dog poo, and they're going to leave.
I mean, the way I see it too is it's kind of a nice thing because it gives a lot of people that are interested in FCing an opportunity to really FC and like have some good fights and get that experience. Or if they're not primarily FCing, they can backseat, some of our skirmish commanders or ops FCs, learn something new, contribute to the fight, and develop and grow a lot more accessibly than having to go on a deployment halfway across the universe.
It is a very unique situation because we have been more on the offensive for the past 5 years. And we have seen, all of us, I'm sure, have seen FCs come and go throughout this war. Some try it and they find out what their level is that they can handle. And then some of them have pushed beyond that level, such as like Mike Flood. Like we all knew Mike was like being groomed for being an upper FC, but I think this war accelerated his path. Instead of taking 2 or 3 years, it took 6 months. So,
and then to add to that too, just like even myself, like Dave said, I started just FCing little corp fleets and gate camp stuff a little bit here and there, and 8 months later, just boom, hey, here's hack keys and go kill things.
Now it sounds like Pappy, you're trying to interrupt my show. How rude. So, Mifun, one of you guys, can you maybe get some eyes over there? See if there's anything worth watching? Where do you think?
I'm looking at it right now, and they popped up and showed up, and things are happening, but it doesn't seem like it's too exciting at the moment.
Okay. Well, Mifun, go ahead and
stick the
start working
cameraman there just in case.
Yeah, start working your way over there, and we'll see. Maybe we can put it in the background. But And I encourage all of you to be on fleets and participate, obviously. I wish Dave was here, but he had to go for a little bit. I really wanted to ask, like, what was your how did you feel when you saw the fighters shredding the harpies, the SS fighters?
I thought it was, in my personal opinion, I was at work at the time, so I wasn't there for that fight. But after the fight, and after I DM'd some people and asked for an explanation of what happened and so and read all the battle reports, I was like, wow, I did not expect space superiority fighters to apply damage to subcaps, but I guess it works.
Well, I was thinking about it, and this is something that we kind of tried out in Quirius. So Theta was deployed to Quirius, quote unquote, whatever you want to call it. But we were out in Quirius fighting against Severance mostly at the time. Brave hadn't moved in yet. And Severance was trying to destroy a Raitaru that we had put down in W6 that we were trying to use as something to build things locally if we could. And Severance was using Gilas. Well, we had a couple of carriers. We had like 6 or 7 carriers, and we had a small fleet, and then Delta had a fleet. This was before Delta got really good at tornadoes, but Delta was doing their thing, and we were like, hey, they're Gilas. They don't have any guns on them, really. So let's just kill their drones. And so we used SS fight. And I didn't even think of it, but once we started using SS, we were like, let's try SS fighters, and they apply amazingly well to drones. So it's like, apparently the smaller the SIG, the better they apply. Because fighters have really small SIG too, right?
So yeah, fighters have a really small SIG, and fighter mechanics are, I wouldn't call them weird, but they're a lot different than a lot of other things. When I like to think of fighters, I pretty much think of mini interceptors that are extremely powerful, right? They're, especially light fighters and SS fighters, they move very, very quickly and deal a lot of damage application, and because of the fighter wings high transversal when orbiting a target, it can be very hard to apply damage depending on what ship is opposing them. So when it came to the fighters against harpies, on paper it makes absolute sense, right? Because of their high velocity and high transversal and their great damage application, sirens are able to hold down something small like a harpy, and other SS fighters can technically annihilate it. What surprised me is that, you know, SS fighters are supposed to be your fighter v fighter thing, right? You wouldn't really expect them to apply to subcaps, but then you think about the logic and you're like, okay, a small, you know, an Eve lore one-man craft or one-man drone that is designed to fight another one-man craft / one-man drone.
And to those of you in the chat, let me tell you here, all right? I may be an FC, but I mostly deal with like big fighters shooting pew pew big things. So SS fighters have never really been in my repertoire. I've not really looked at them.
Theory crafting
other than knowing
is not,
they shoot other fighters.
Theory crafting is not my forte either. Sorry, my forte is more on the
Geckos are cool.
Geckos are cool. My fortes are in other areas, but theory crafting is not one, but I'm going to try my best.
Like feeding Baltec fleets? Wait, which fleet was it again?
It was a Baltec fleet. Hey,
called it!
I say, like, my forte is mostly subcaps, and I understand the basic mechanics of capitals and supercaps, but not to a major theory crafting extent.
Now, is anything going on? That's because I'm seeing a lot of people logging in. So anything interesting?
Not anything interesting yet. It could turn into something.
Keep us posted.
I'll trust me. If I needed to, I'll do it.
Side note: during this whole show, my mom's been texting me about buying a house. I'm not interested in buying a house, but she has been texting me pictures and messages about buying a house.
Buy a house, Don.
My mother's
have a house. I already own a house.
Bufune, fix my camera, please.
What'd you do, Greg? What'd you do?
I clicked the
disconnected.
wrong button.
Bhutan.
Bhutan.
I want to take this moment to kind of just a little PSA about joining fleets and stuff like that. You know, regardless of the situation or what you perceive may be going on, you know, got to trust in the guys above, you know, that have eyes everywhere, knowing exactly what's going on. If they feel the need to ping, like, we always need to make sure that we get our guys in the fleet to make sure we can just shut down any enemy activity. Sometimes we get the fights, sometimes we don't get the fights, but if you're able to, always join.
Greg,
I agree.
Cameron.
Calexo's fleets are a lot of fun. Dave's fleets can go either way. You're either going to have a great time or you're going to get smart bombed and crash the server. One of the two. And
the best
Mifune's
part-
fleets are
My fleets are weird. My fleets
My
are
fleets,
weird
everybody dies.
because my fleets are weird because you go on one of my fleets and command tells me, hey, go here to do X objective, and then one of two things happen. You get halfway through and upper people go, oh yeah, we need you to do this instead, or upper people go, no, that's not what I meant the first time I told you this. I meant something else. I said, oh, okay, well then now I gotta change how the things work.
Yeah, dude, shoot. Like, I sit there a lot of the times where it's like there's something going on and I'll form and then I'll show up and then they turn and go the other way and I just sit there getting like blue balled all day.
I mean, no, like for example, there was one point where I was taking over bombers for an FC who had to leave, and we were sitting off of a gate. And as far as I was told, even though there were a lot of busy things going on, I was told bomb the enemy. So when hostile Munins start coming on grid, set up a bombing run. Bomb the Munins, killed 2 or 3, not really too big of a deal, and then all I hear is, what the fuck are you doing? And next thing you know, I have Alice and John Hartley screaming their heads off at me, saying that was not my purpose, that my purpose was to bomb bubbles on the gate if they were to put any up. Cool, I was never told that when I started the fleet, but thanks for the info.
Should never yell at muffins.
Might get a little sorry.
Yeah, I love muffins, by the way. That's the best now.
Yeah.
Muffin sword god.
It has to be like the best autocorrect that autocorrect has ever done. At least in my opinion.
I mean, it
Yeah,
is
but-
a great autocorrect.
All right.
Oh,
we're
I
ready
think it's
for-
time. I think it's time. It's that special time of the week where we have a new segment that debuted last week, and it was fucking great. Don's Animal Facts of the Week with Don Rhea.
Yes, we'll do that real quick. Maybe longer. It's a fun discussion. This is so. Is there a swipe or anything like that, or a picture?
No,
I don't wanna
Mifune is
I
working
have
on it.
Not had
Alright.
time.
Well, I don't. Whatever Greg sent you, I don't really like. We'll have to like play with it. So, anyways, my animal fact of the week. And for those of you that don't know, I have a degree in zoology. I studied for this. I've worked in multiple zoos. I don't do that right now, but I love animals. Blah blah blah. So my animal fact of the week is emus are very unique birds. They're the second largest bird in the world, and emus are paternal. So the females lay the eggs. So the male makes the nest. The females lay the eggs and then run off and never see them again. And the males sit on the eggs, hatch the eggs, and raise the chicks. They're also flightless, and their eggs are they're jade green. They're very, very pretty. And
Great
they're
omelets.
they're the second largest egg out there, I believe. And they're really, really cool. Hi, Cat. She heard animal facts and wanted to come running. But emus are awesome creatures. Australia lost an entire war to them, I hear. I don't know all the details on that. Maybe one of our Aussie friends can handle that, or you guys can Wikipedia it. They're also unique by their feather type because, so if you ever pull up a full, let's just say a goose feather, if you like find like a Canada goose feather on the side of the road, you'll see the long big feather and then little tufts of fluff at the bottom. Well, that's actually a secondary feather. It's just really, really tiny, itty bitty. You can't tell. It just looks like fluff. On an emu, their feathers are the two feathers on a feather, on like the two branches of a feather, are the same length, and that's why you get that kind of hairy look on them, because all of their feathers are the same length and look the same. So those are our animal facts of the week.
Oh,
if you have any
apparently
questions
though,
about
hang
emus,
on.
please let me know.
Apparently they you can smoke them too.
You can't. I guess you could eat
Emus? You
Oh,
can
hang
smoke?
on. No, like fucking. I just linked an article there about emu oil. I didn't look at it. I just heard emu oil, so I guess you
Well,
could probably smoke it.
they probably have a high oil content, just like ducks do. But yeah, emus are cool. Everyone should like emus. You can actually buy them in the US. I don't encourage you to have weird pets unless you know what you're doing. But, you know, if you feel inclined, you can have an emu. They do kick and can disembowel you. So be careful.
Speaking of
With your
buying a
emus.
They're
pet,
dangerous.
They also have very teeny tiny arms like a T-Rex.
so speaking of buying a pet, a buddy of mine just recently went out and he bought a betta fish, and he was trying to decide what to name it. So I told him,
Is it
you
Pete?
should name it Pete. And
Oh,
he goes,
God. Did you name
why
it Pete?
Pete? And he's like, well, why Pete? And I had to sit there, and I sat there for 20 minutes and explained to him the entire Mitten story of Pete, and even pulled out the fireside recording of Mittens explaining how Pete died, and rip Pete. And so he named the fish Pete.
So, okay, so since Dave and them are dealing with some shit right now, and I have to entertain the masses here, let's talk about college for me. All right. No, it was not a wild, crazy time, but my roommate and I were both zoology students. At one point in our dorm room, we had 12 betta fish, all in separate tanks. We had a tarantula. We had a snake. We had millipedes. We had, and also an iguana at one point. That only stayed for 2 weeks as just kind of a holding thing, but we had an iguana.
You
said it
had-
wasn't a wild, crazy time. Come on.
You said it.
How many?
So what
Eve
you?
doing?
No. What? Oh, Eve's doing
What- how-
fantastic.
The puppy? Yeah, she's cute.
Yeah, she's adorable. She just got the cone off the other day from being spayed and everything. She went to daycare yesterday. So our local vet office has this little daycare thing, and it's so great. So we take Eve in at around 7-8 a.m. right to this daycare center, and they feed her. They take her out. They have a whole play area where she plays with all these other puppies. They have friends. They have little groups that they play with, stuff like that. And they play for a couple hours. They take a nap, and then they get up and they eat. They use the bathroom, and then they play again. And we go to pick her up around 3 or 4 in the afternoon. And she loves it. And that's just like our neighbors. We have neighbors that have dogs, and we live on the corner of the street, so our neighbors will be walking their dogs around the block and stuff. And you know, what they'll do is they'll let their dogs off the leash, and their dog and Eve will just run back and forth, barking at each other through the fence. So she does that, but you know, we wanted to get her a little bit more active, a little more social with other dogs, and so we take her to the daycare twice a week, and she loves it. She'll go there. She has an absolute blast. All of the people at the veterinarian's office love her. And then she comes home, and the second she comes home, she plops down on her spot on the couch and sleeps for like 4 straight hours.
Oh, by the way, so someone asked in chat, they have little arms. So yeah, so if you look at an emu, it looks like it's just legs, right? Big body, long head, and then big long legs. When they rear up and they like dance around, you can see these 2 little nubs come out. They're like maybe 4 or 5 inches long, and they're their wings. And it's hilarious. It's so cute. It looks like a T-Rex. You're like, ah! So it's cute.
So since you are
So Don,
What?
Sorry.
I was just kind of curious to like what the party situation was like in college at the dorm.
In Michigan
at the dorm
State
room.
University, 40,000 students. I'm sure parties were somewhere. I did not go to parties. I'm a nerd and I'm shy. I'm not very outgoing like with that kind of thing. I had friends and did stuff in stuff. Some of my friends were the more partier type. I remember one of my times. What was it? So it was after college, but it was like the year after. So some of my friends were still in college. So I went up to visit, and I guess I'll tell the whole story. My friend was going to be doing a Magic the Gathering tournament because she was getting into that. And she's like, I was going to, can you go pick up some mutual friends, people I knew? So I knew them. Can you pick them up at about midnight since I'm still going to be here? And I said, no problem. I'll go pick him up and I'll bring him back. And, and then we'll all just kind of sleep at the apartment and then I'll come get you in the morning because she was going to be an all-nighter thing. Fine. So I pick up these two friends and they're married. They got married after dating for 3 days. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind here, right? They got married after 3 days of dating. And I know that they're both, or at least one of them, is one of those guys that's always got, weed, cocaine, PCP, something on him, right? But he wouldn't look at you.
Wait a second.
Yeah, right?
How did you just equate weed, cocaine, and PCP?
He's got something of everything on him somewhere at some point.
PCP is a little bit of a different.
You'd be surprised here, okay? But let's talk here. So I take her car. So this isn't even my car, but it's her car. I drive over to their apartment. It's not that far away. It's like a couple blocks away from where we were at. So I take her car, go pick them up. We get in the car. I'm still driving. And I'm driving him and her back. And he's in the front seat next to me. And I'm driving. And a police car is next to us. Now, we're in Lansing, Michigan, which it's a college town. The cops are, used to drunk college kids everywhere or whatever. So they pull people over randomly for shit. And I'm like driving careful. And he's like, yeah. He's like, if we get pulled over, I'll just eat all the acid I've got on me. And I'm like, what? He's like, oh yeah, I got 22 hits of acid on me. I'm like, what?
Oh, wow.
Oh, so did you have to eat it? Did
no,
you and your friend have to eat all the acid?
I drove perfectly, but I did not know that when I picked this person up, they had that much stuff on them. I was like, oh my God.
You know what I'm picturing in my head, Don? Have you ever seen the beginning of the movie Super Troopers with the 3 teenage kids in the car?
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a long time, but yeah. I was just like, oh my God. So I drove perfectly safe. We got home. They all did, whatever they felt like in the morning when we went to go tailgating for the at-home game. But woo, Nelly, that was a bit of a heart stopper.
Did you see dragons on your acid
you still
trip?
Talk to this guy?
Can you give me no. He they got divorced like a year later, and then he got picked up by the cops driving 120 on his motorcycle, trying to run from the cops. So I don't know. He's probably in jail right now. I don't know.
So what's the best acid trip you've ever been on?
I've never done anything. The only thing I've never done anything
because of Twitch things. We're gonna step away from that kind of sort of topic, but
yeah, we can't go too much into it.
Kids, don't do drugs.
Don't
do
drugs. But it's a fun story. So
another fun story in my town. There, in North Carolina, there's one school. There's Eastern Carolina University, which is kind of known as the party school and everything like that, where everyone goes to party and doesn't give a shit about their grades or whatever. And the thing is that I know a lot of kids. I dropped out of college my first year because COVID hit, and online college, man, it was awful. But ECU, they have some pretty huge parties, and there was one where NC State beat Duke in a basketball game, and they threw a party at ECU to celebrate. And it was so bad and so wild. Kids kind of flipped over 60 cars in the parking lot. 60 cars that all caught fire from flipping over. And they were basically using these flipped over cars as a gigantic bonfire.
Wait, what?
That's not dangerous at all.
Yeah, so they were... they took the cars and they flipped them over And then after they were flipped over, they went and they poured shit all over it, and then took a lighter and said "fuck it" and threw it there and made one giant bonfire. Now, they obviously too drunk and too dumb to not realize that they're gonna blow up 60 fucking cars. And you know, the police and the fire department got there pretty damn quickly. So luckily nothing exploded and nobody got hurt. Surprisingly, nobody got hurt. But
So since you went to, go ahead.
it's still like one of those weird things that I wake up in the morning and I look on my Snapchat story and it's just, oh yeah, 60 fucking car pileup on fire in the middle of an ECU party.
Okay.
That sounds pretty wacky.
Sounds like ECU,
So-
Don.
What? I just got back.
Hey, Don. So, did you ever go to lacrosse games at Michigan State?
I did not, but I did see them practicing occasionally. Mwah.
Man, you missed out on a good opportunity to see some.
Let me
top
tell
tier
you,
lacrosse.
so if you want to do sports, Michigan State is where it's at. They spend all their money on sports. All of it. Nothing for anybody else. But if you are on a
Did you
sports
do any
team, there you go.
sports, Don?
I did Taekwondo. Did the Taekwondo
Were you
club.
any good at it?
Yeah, I did pretty good. I did we didn't do a lot of tournaments. It was more kind of fun. But yeah, I did pretty good. I had a good time. It was more about just kind of a group and being like goons where, you know, you're in a group of people that like to do stuff together, but we also did other stuff together. One of my friends from Taekwondo invited me to her wedding a couple years ago. I still see a bunch of them online and stuff. So, you know, club sports is also fun, even if you're not good, particularly at anything, or it's not going to go anywhere like a career or something. Definitely hop into that, take advantage of it, because I'm glad I did, even though I don't do any Taekwondo right now. But yes, I
Well,
could.
that was my next question. Yeah, no. My next question was in Vegas when Mifune or Muffins he inevitably challenges you to a fight. Who's going to win?
Well, I don't know.
You-
I'm out of
You,
shape.
Dawn versus Muffins.
I'm out of shape, so we still have a guest. So we have two guests here, Arsig and Klexus. Any like fun stories that you have or can think of that are just kind of
Yeah. What about
funny?
meetups? You guys
There is no preface here, guys.
apparently have been to some meetups.
This is free
I
time.
mean, speaking of meetups, we were planning on organizing a Texas one because we have a lot of members based in Texas and surrounding areas.
Nice.
Towards the end of or mid last year, but with COVID and everything, we kind of put a halt on it. But I think coming up here shortly in the next couple months, we may try to replan that. There's also Vegas, obviously coming up. Vegas is gonna be pretty cool. Ascendance, at least we got we did an Airbnb with a bunch of members, so it's gonna be a pretty cool place. Has a pool table, pool, volleyball court, soccer field, pretty sizable kitchen.
Yeah, Texas is a big area, so saying a Texas meetup does not
Yeah,
quite
so
narrow it down.
narrow it down. We have a lot of members in like Houston and Dallas areas. I think a couple in
San Antonio.
yeah, San Antonio area, Austin a little bit. I know there's a couple in Louisiana, a couple in Oklahoma, a couple in Arizona that are even willing to come all the way to Texas for these meetups. But like, you know, we look at cool places. Like I think the most recent one when we were planning on Texas one was going to be at a place called St. Arnold's. It's like the oldest brewery in Texas. You know, something real cool. They have a nice patio with a good view of like downtown Houston, where we all just hang out, have a couple beers, some good pizza.
Yes,
But-
Vegas is gonna be lit.
Vegas isn't
Arsig, do you have any
good.
fun stories or anything that's like har? Or any dirt on Dave since he's not here to defend himself?
Vegas,
Now we're talking.
Vegas was a lot of fun. The year before last, we all went. But like Klexo said, we're getting an Airbnb this year. So if you guys are around, just hit one of us up and you come over. We're gonna have the drinks and the food and all that in the pool. I don't know. I saw one night we were out and it was Dave and a bunch of the ASCII dudes, and Dave was being his normal, pretty chill self, and then I'm assuming she was the hooker, but she comes out on the sidewalk right in front of him and she just looks at him and squats in front of him and pees. And I think it tripped his breaker because he just sort of got the 1,000-yard stare and wasn't responding to us for about a half a block.
Wait, some chick just pees in front of him and he's just like, what?
Yeah, I think it was the eye contact she made with him that really weirded him out, but that she didn't speak it the whole time. But that's the only time I've ever seen Dave without something to say, seemingly unable to make a decision other than walk away.
So she asserted dominance. Got
Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah.
it. That's fantastic.
Could have been worse.
That's the only really good Dave story I can think of. So.
You still planning on barbecuing at Vegas too?
Yeah, I think so.
Dude.
Hell yeah.
We'll make a Costco run and hit it pretty hard.
There's a Walmart right off the strip.
Yeah, Darcy was talking about like renting like a industrial grade like barbecue like setup.
I don't need anything that big. Do you really need something that big? I know we're not gonna have like a normal goon dinner, but if ASCII's got like a house and good foods and stuff with no supervision, I might have to come over and hang out.
Well, just
I
be clear,
got my hotel.
I guess the book is out on Dave Archer that he's into the water sports, Don. So
I'm sorry, what?
Literally just
Arsenic was telling us a story about a lady who asserted her dominance in front of you, apparently.
Oh. Arsenic. I take it this was in front of the Paris, yeah?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay. So no, we were walking along, we were going to go inside. Fast. And there's this lady just doing the deed at the foot of the Eiffel Tower that they've got there. I was just going, what the
Well, you gotta go, you gotta go.
Keep walking. Yeah, but outside a casino where there's toilets.
I like the eye contact part, though. That was the best part of the story.
I barely remember most of it.
I think that's pretty much classic PTSD.
Jeez.
Just black out like, nah, I don't remember it. I've heard some interesting stories. Apparently, like, Elo and somebody got in a fight in an elevator. Somebody attacked him, and he had to defend himself, and he got arrested until they, like, reviewed the tapes and stuff.
Whoa, I want to hear this story, Don. Go ahead, please.
I wasn't there, but I was talking with some people on an enemy server, and they were talking about that story. Because we were all trying to get a He Who Shall Not Be Named to go to Vegas with us, and he's a little worried, which he shouldn't be, but I understand why, about going. And because I promise 99% of EVE players are chill and keep things in game. There are obviously the 1% that do things they shouldn't, but apparently he's a little worried about going places beyond other things just because. So, but apparently Elo got in a fight with somebody because they attacked him because something Black Legion did. I think Sword Dragon almost got in a fight too in the bar at one point. Sword Dragon got peed on last time, which is funny.
Hang out with
Dave. Was it Dave's friend?
No, it was funny enough. It was his roommate. Apparently, his roommate.
Oh, I've heard that story.
Came back super duper blasted and drunk one night, and just was stumbling around the room. But Sword Dragon had already gone to bed, from my understanding, and it just did not understand where the bathroom was. So he started like going on his own bed, and then Sword wakes up and he's like, "What are you doing?" And the guy's like, "What?" and just turns around midstream.
You've all done that before.
I have not. I've puked. I have puked on my bed, but I have not.
As someone who hasn't been to EVE Vegas yet, I've heard my only experience outside of not going to EVE Vegas is that I try to log on to EVE Online the Friday of EVE Vegas, and there's nobody. There's nothing online. There's nobody online. Nothing's going on. So I'm curious to ask you guys for a perspective. Do you think the war will continue throughout the entirety of Vegas? Like, if the war's still going on in October, do you think things like battles will still occur during that EVE Vegas weekend, or do you think everything will kind of come to a halt like normal?
I expect a TED offensive if we're still going on. They will take advantage of all us being in Vegas.
That'll be a super interesting kind of thing, in my opinion, because it's like if we're all there, I mean, provided we have decent Wi-Fi, I mean, you might find places where it's like all the command teams are sitting in the same room, and that's going to be an interesting thing.
Like, are we gonna
Just
have
watch-
to do old-fashioned Counter-Strike 1.6 LAN parties where we're all just kind of lined up in the living room with our chairs and laptops, fucking logging into Eve?
How, no matter how awesome that'd be, there's still enough, especially from the military side, that will not be going to Vegas. That
It
you
should
know,
survive.
it's covered.
I mean, that's an interesting thought. Do we think the war is going to, and kind of get back to the war talk a little bit? Do we think the war is going to go that long? I
Yeah,
know
it's at
that
least 3 more years. 3 years. That's what I'm going for. I want to be in a container for 3 years. That's my goal.
Speaking of which, Don, did you still have that fighter question for Dave since he's back?
Don?
She may have died.
It's the quietest I've ever heard it be.
Yes, indeed.
I don't hear the cat meowing. Sorry.
Oh, we could go to rapid fire.
Oh yeah.
Hang on, okay.
Good time. We got
All right,
about 20
okay,
minutes
okay.
left.
Okay, all right. We'll do rapid fire. We'll start with Dave.
So the
All
way
right,
this
Dave,
works,
I'm going to ask you.
the way this
Yeah,
works
go ahead,
is that-
Mifune.
The way this works is that Greg is just going to say this or that, and you're going to try and answer it as quickly as possible between your preference on the topics.
Yeah, the what pops into your head? It's the rapid fire chamber of pain. All right, Dave Archer. Boxers or briefs?
Box.
Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Harpy or jackdaw?
Well, I only ever FC, so Jack.
Star Trek? Star Wars?
Star Trek.
Baseball or American football?
Baseball, because the other one's not football.
Amar or Minimatar?
Minimatar.
Pepsi or Coke?
Coke.
Beatles or the Stones?
Beatles.
All right, so Klexos. I'm going to give you the same questions pretty much in just in a different order. I have to cross one off because one violates Twitch TOS. So I'm just going to put a line through it. I just noticed. Must have been real sleepy when
Star Trek fan over Star Wars.
All right, Klexos. Star Trek, Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Pepsi or Coke?
Coke.
Harpy or Jackdaw?
Harpy.
Baseball, football?
Lacrosse.
Beatles or Stones?
Beatles.
Boxers or briefs?
Boxers.
All right. And Arsig?
Yo.
I'm going to give you the rapid fire chamber of pain.
All right.
Beatles or Stones?
Stones.
Boxers or briefs?
Boxers.
Harpy or Jackdaw?
Jackdaw.
Amar or Minimatar?
Minimatar.
Pepsi or Coke?
Coke.
Star Trek, Star Wars?
Star Wars.
All right, so we know a little bit more about our ASCII people. I'll do you one day, Mifune. I mean Muffins. In the chamber of pain. We need a
So-
graphic for that too.
I'm sorry I died there, guys.
I'm out of innuendo there.
Okay, so Don,
What?
you had a question for Dave about fighters. Apparently, Dave is back now.
Oh yeah, I had asked them, but Dave, how did you feel when you saw the SS fighters shredding harpies?
Happy because it meant our plan actually worked.
Were you sure it was gonna work? Did you guys test it, or was it just like a who knows? Wee lob in there.
Some people did test it. I personally didn't. But I had a hunch it would work due to just the way the guns on the SS fighters are designed. They're designed to hit stuff with smaller SIGs. which incidentally also means hacks. We mounted an eagle the other day in like 20 seconds flat, which was beautiful.
That's pretty good to know. Now, did you test to see if putting SS fighters out then is fine even if they don't bring harpies, right?
I mean,
You'd be better
normal
with lights because they're going to
still
shoot
work.
better, but
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say fine. You're going to be at a definite disadvantage,
but
they'll work.
if it keeps them from bringing harpies, then you can always swap those out, a group at a time, right?
Theoretically, I'm not going to say what I'd do in that situation, but theoretically, you could.
Yeah. I mean, of course, we're going to reveal all of our plans right meow on stream for everybody to see. It's not like anybody watches this anyway, so it's fine. It's fine. But now, we did ask Arsig and Klexos for fun stories. Do you have a fun story? It doesn't have to be related to anything, but maybe something that you're just like, this is really entertaining, maybe about the war, or maybe about just something, Eve, that you've interacted with that you thought was hilarious or something you might want to share. We want to give that opportunity for you to, like, talk to the audience and everybody else.
There's quite a few. One of my personal favourites is less than 12 hours after certain people said me and Mike were trash tier FCs. We fought in PS TAC, outnumbered, won the iHub, and destroyed their fleets.
I was on that fleet, and I was Logi on that fleet, and I absolutely loved it. And I love the fact that we won. What was involved in that particular fight? Do you remember?
It was literally so Doubter Squad. I think it was Doubter Squad, and we were out there causing trouble while GSFOE were setting up to do the second time on the hack, and it was at a point where we would only turn up for the second timers if if there was a moment like that where we could come in and clutch, because if you pre-prepare, they pre-prepare, and at that point in time they could pre-prepare more people. So yeah, basically hostiles sent a really poorly formed hack fleet that they sent to Pappy Assemble over there to stop them. So me, Mike, and Sniper and all that were just like, you know what? Let's go for it. So we send Mike over there, Munins. He gets 256 dudes within 5 minutes, and he engages them. They start rage pinging. They only get up to a fleet and a half. Then I turn up with another almost full fleet of Cerberuses. So they're there focusing on the Munin fleet while I was flying around the outside, just killing literally everything I set my eyes on. So yeah, it was basically they didn't prepare well and got dumped.
I just remember Delta kicked their ass. I think Delta got almost 50 kills in that fight. Now, certain enemy leaders have multiple times tried to downplay the impact Delta has brought to the fleets. But have you noticed that the enemy is also trying to do it? Like P-Horde had a tornado fleet out in a couple of the fights. I don't know how that works when you're trying to go through a gate, but apparently they've tried it. And even our own people, Ranger Regiment, is starting to do their own tornado fleets as well in their time zone.
Oh, can we just also talk about the embarrassing moment when Cretan took out Harpies earlier this week, the other night, which I actually got to go on before I had to leave for work that day. But we were on this Harpy fleet, and they were trying to hack some things in the 1DQ constellation, and next thing you know, they have bombers out and about, and they tried to bomb our Harpy fleet as we were landing on a gate. We didn't lose a single person in the fleet, and they failed miserably. The Imperium doesn't have good FC bombers, though, right?
No. Which
just wanted to make sure.
In a if for those of you that were in the public channel earlier today, that is still what they believe. So their opinion has not changed, even though they got absolutely dumpstered, because apparently bombing a gate is easy.
Speaking of bomber FCs, I noticed an interesting name back in chat that I hadn't seen in a long time. That's
As
been
well as in
known
fleets.
to, yeah, it's been known to do some bombing.
It's a slightly large crimson vessel.
A weapon that we have yet to utilize during this war.
You're lucky he's getting married.
He's
Or
already
married.
married, I believe.
I think, yeah, I think they finally did it, yeah.
He's been busy with work, but now
School's winding down, and
yeah, so he's got more time, which is scary for them, but even more scary for blue fleets.
okay. I do want to ask before we run out of time today, just quickly. The enemy has been like begging us to attack, right? And the Imperium's response has been the famous John Hartley clip of "You're invading us. That's how this works." Do you see Goonswarm going on a counteroffensive, or do you see us still continuing our normal harassment?
Just from, and I know Dave will probably want to pitch in on this, but just as I want to put my 2 cents in here, is that I just think it's not viable for us to, right? Like, logically speaking, there's no way that we should go on the offensive at all right now, right? They, like, because even though Pappy is Pappy, and even though they've been doing absolutely terrible at taking this last constellation, and even though we have had fantastic numbers, morale is high, everything is telling us to go for that. We shouldn't, because here's what's going to happen. We're going to leave the 1DQ constellation, we're going to go to try and attack something, and Pappy is going to absolutely max herf and blurf, shit, whatever, right? Now, they may not win that first timer, but the second that the second timer comes around, then that's going to be similar to how we prepared for M2, where we put 5,000 dudes in system before the fight even started. Pappy's going to, hopefully, they should form up similarly way before the timer and prevent us from poking our head out of the constellation. It's just not viable. Now, once the war has ended and PanFam starts doing their death cloney bullshit out of T5Z, and NC Dot goes home and they deal with fraternity and all that bullshit up north up there, and it's only us and Test, then yes, we will probably go on the offensive then, and just to reclaim everything they've ever fucking taken.
All right, well, let's let our guests answer. Dave, Arsig, or Klexus, whoever wants to go first. Do you see us going on the offensive anytime soon, or kind of what that would look like, or are we gonna kind of keep playing this defensive wall?
So, I'm kind of going to answer that with a question: have we ever not been on the offensive in this war?
There's
a good example
question
is our staging system is still standing. The one we've held for God knows how many years. Where's Braves?
Dead. But
where's the
Brave
rest
are
of
worthless. Like, where's the other one? Which one?
Where's the rest of Legacy? They all had to go running to Esoteria to hide under Test's skirt, where Horde and Test could come and save them because they couldn't handle a few squads and in it who they claimed were useless
and dead. But yeah, dead, right? And didn't the staging system of P-Horde get refed? Now, I know they didn't follow up on that ref, but if they were able to ref it once, and supposedly that should be at least a couple, like, ADMs, right? Everybody rats in their stager system, no matter how much you tell them not to. I would expect it to be at least a 3 or 4. So 30, 40 minutes minimum. And no one in P-Horde could warp over and clear it?
Yeah, that's the interesting thing, because they still probably have a lot of people back there, because technically speaking, this is still just a squad of theirs deployed. It's not, but yeah, that's what they want to make it look like. So even in the past, when we've deployed the entire coalition to somewhere, we have still been able to defend Delve with ASIGs and squads and such.
Has any group ever tried to counter-harass us during a war?
When we were glassing tribute, NC attempted it, but SV, Liberty, and Whelp Squad stopped them at every pass.
Yeah, I remember slight pokings, but that particular war, we decided to only send originally half our fleet, super fleet, over to poke and prod, and then we sent the rest over when we had the big fights, obviously. But we were able to keep Shield at home, so there was no point to trying to counter us because we were defending so well. I know we have been attacking a lot of places. If Dave or Arsig or Calexis, any of you, all three of you, if you had a choice of poking and prodding somebody next, which one would you want to do? Doesn't mean we're definitely going to do it, but which one would you want to real hard? Any particular group? Because I know I would love to go back to shooting Brave in the face.
With no strategic, tactical, or any sort of information influencing this,
Sure.
I would say NC because it's not the real NC in my opinion.
Oh, some call-outs there.
Please do explain that statement, sir.
Yeah, because I think NC's been the MVPs right now, this particular war, compared to everybody else. But what's your reasoning, Mr.
My
Calexis?
old love for old school NC.
Oh, that's right. You used to be in them, so you think that they're imposters?
Not the same as it was before, from my understanding. I haven't really flown with the new NC dot, but it's just one of those things where it's like they're an alliance now versus a coalition, as it once was, like old school Northern Coalition. So, just my opinion is just like they have the name, but I don't see it as the same group per se as the NC of old.
Interesting. I like that answer. Arsig or Dave, which group, if you had the choice, would you want to go poke right now? Doesn't have to be anybody particularly we're at war with or strategically viable per se, but if you had the choice, who would you poke?
I'm kind of like, I always enjoyed a good Brave bash, but I think in the end, they'll all take a turn.
Dave?
I think the whole of PamFam's been sitting too nice and pretty in drones since we pushed them out of Fade and all that area. So, yeah, I think that their time has come to get their teeth kicked in.
Nice.
Goblins to eat. Time for goblins to eat some shit.
Well,
I mean, they've moved a lot, but still.
In my opinion, Horde are the ones that really swung this, mainly because they have the numbers. All the others, like NC and PL are too elitist, so they don't have numbers anymore. You got Test, who
Built on fleet, maybe?
Yeah, they're a little. I don't know. They're a select culture.
Test is weird, and test culture is just weird. I'm sorry, Dave. I just wanted to. It's weird because they have a similar structure to Goons, but they're like the off-brand structure of Goon Swarm, and it's just so weird to me. No, it's like they're
the Wish version of Goon Swarm.
Yeah, and it's just I don't know. It's weird to me. It's just weird because it's like they have SIGs and squads, but their SIGs and squads are only dedicated depending on what test corp you're in. So if you're in Dreadit, you're in Dreadit's squad, which is the same thing as being in the corp anyway. So why would you have the SIG there? You know? Like, they have, like, Cookie Squad or whatever the hell it's called and then Dreadit. And it's just like, but why? And it's like, I don't know. Anyway, Dave, continue.
Well, I was going to open up to the rest of the panel before we do our final thoughts. If you had a choice of which group you wanted to shoot in the face next in-game, who would you pick? Dominic?
I would go with PamFam also.
Nice.
They need to go.
I agree. They need to get their butts whipped. Greg, if you had a choice, who would you not show Canadian love to? You're muted again.
100% test. They even gotta die.
In game, non-fatally. Klexos, Who would? Oh wait, you already told us. Never mind. I was just going down the line. I'm last. So if I had a choice, I would shoot Brave in the face because they need it. Everyone's like, oh, look, Brave newbies. They're just newbies. Blah blah blah. No, they're not. They're just crabs and they're worthless. So they don't deserve to own any nullsec. The only reason why they own anything in nullsec is because Test is holding their hand and everyone's had fucking pity on them. I have no pity on you. Keldrosto and Shattered Armor over there in game are not very good FCs, especially when you're begging people to just stop making some semblance of money. They're auctioning off names for buildings just to make some money. And it's not just because it's cute; it's because they fucking need it. I think we just need to put them down. Let them go back to high sec, build up, and learn how to actually be a PvP alliance. I will say though, Severance, shout out to Severance, you guys for being teeny tiny know how to bring it.
I think
And you're wasting yourselves where you're at.
the next major ass whooping would definitely be towards like PanFam and all of them. But you know what? I'd like to see a SIGs and squads deployment to clear out the mess that is Provi Block and Catch. And
there's no one left in Provi Block.
Hey, Dreadbomb's living there, and they're
no,
kicking Wrecking Crew's ass last time I checked.
No, Dreadbomb is part of Wrecking Crew. Are you high?
No, I'm just retarded sometimes.
So,
but
no, you are. That is not a word we're allowed to say on Twitch. Anyways, Dreadbomb is not friends, but they're not food. They're something we can deal with later. I'm trying to keep that relationship decent. But there's nothing left in Provi to shoot, sweetie. It's just Wrecking Crew. But if you want to fight Wrecking Crew, that's fine.
SIGs and squad deployment to kick Wrecking Crew, man. I mean, I think it'll be a fun. I think that would be a fun little. I think that would be a fun Jeff deployment. Like, honestly,
that could be,
because the even though Wrecking Crew is a little weird, and a little weird in their tactics and their doctrines and stuff like that, I think that would be a really interesting thing to see. The GSF and Wrecking Crew trying to outsmart each other in the very unique ways that we both fight.
Well, I want to thank all of our guests for coming today. I want to thank all of our audience for hanging out with us. We're going to do our final thoughts so we can close on time. So we'll just start at the top. Arsig, is there any final thoughts you have or any final things you want to say?
Thanks for having us on. I like this kind of court profile thing, especially as the war drags on. It's getting a little stressful, even though we're all next to each other every day. It's nice to kind of take a break and realize that we're all just people playing a fun space game, and we're all here for the same reason. So thanks for having us on. Appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you guys for joining. Dave, do you have any final thoughts?
I'm terrible at bits like this.
Just comments, shout outs, recipes.
No, really, just shout outs to all the other FCs and goons because they've been pulling some long ass hours, and the cohorts, especially like Cryo and such.
We love Cryo. Dominarch, any final thoughts or anything tonight?
No, really don't have any final thoughts. Isn't that terrible?
That's okay. You got your own show tomorrow. If Open Comms is tomorrow, I'm sure Dominarch's going to be on it.
Maybe you should come stop by.
That would require TeamSpeak, maybe.
We'll see.
TeamSpeak, yes. Wait a minute, you guys still use TeamSpeak?
Yeah, they use TeamSpeak. It's gross.
See, no. I would expect something like Ventrilo, but not TeamSpeak. Gross.
I'd get them to switch to Ventrilo, but they wouldn't do it.
All right, Greg, any final thoughts for the evening?
I do. I've got a couple. I'm not muted this time, am I? Okay, good.
No.
Yeah. All right. The first final thought is that don't forget that we're still working on our Theta Thursday talent show. Whatever. But we are working on something that's probably going to come up a lot sooner. As in July 1st, we're going to have a Theta Thursday. The Goons of Canada, Canadian Goon Superheroes special, where we're going to feature people from Canada, like myself and like some other people. So Yeah, some Canucks that also play EVE Online that are in the Imperium. So if you want to contact myself, Don, or Mifune, if you want to be a guest on that show, we can work on some content.
Fantastic. Klaxos, final thoughts?
Yeah, I just want to say, thank you guys for having us on and, giving us this opportunity to really interact with everyone. And if there's any like Imperium or Goon FCs that ever have any questions or want some feedback on anything, feel free to, PM me on Jabber or Discord, whatever. I'm always happy to, help out where I can.
Fantastic. Mifune, any final thoughts for our guests or for the show tonight?
ASCII is recruiting. I stole Dave's bike, and that's about it.
ASCII's always recruiting.
Fantastic. Well, I want to thank once again everybody for coming. Thank you so much for our audience for going on this journey with us through the wonderful world of ASCII. If you have any questions or want to continue the chat, you can always reach us on the INN Discord with the Theta Thursday channel. If you are a goon, as Greg said, and you want to join us for our Canada show, or if you another show that you have an idea on, don't hesitate to reach out. We'll be happy to talk. Hopefully, I've got a couple corps in the works for next week. The plan is maybe Shadow State. So pressure them to join in.
That'll be spicy, Don.
If we can get Shadow State. If not, then we'll try to find somebody else. And if not, then we'll just figure something out.
I know a couple of popular Shadow State people that would just be super fucking interesting to talk to.
I love Shadow State is a fun corp. In a completely different way from ASCII, but they're both very vital to Goonswarm, and that's what I love about Goonswarm and the Imperium in general, is each corp can bring that unique flair that just meshes so well together. But thanks for everybody coming. We're gonna go now, and just hit us up on Discord if you have any questions or want to continue the conversation.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Are we out?
Oh well, no, because my OBS is acting up and it won't let me